Laser sights enhance and maintain your accuracy in a time of crisis, preventing tunnel vision and allowing quick target acquisition in awkward shooting positions. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
The number one national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Did you ever do something and then wonder, was that smart? Well, I did. I still don't know if it's smart. We'll find out. Or maybe I'll never know. Who knows? I ordered online one of those, you may have seen them, the ugly gun sweater, the Christmas sweater with gun emblems on it. I don't know why. No, I don't. I just did, and it's ugly, and it'll be fun. And well, it'll be fun to me, okay? And if anybody else has a problem with it, ask me how much I care. Oh, by the way, Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun, and that will certainly get you in here. How can it be that a new shooting range, a new gun club, is the oldest gun club in America? A riddle wrapped in enigma. Well, joining me right now to talk about that, John and Laurie Wiles from the Pinehurst Gun Club. Now, how are you guys doing? Welcome.
Tom, it's so good to hear your voice. It's been such a long time since you and I were in Scotland with your dear father, Grits, who I miss, and I'm sure you miss every moment of every day. How have you been?
I am well. We had so much fun. We were hunting grouse in Scotland. Actually did a little salmon fishing on the Spey River. I actually got a true weird fur and feather double. I got a grouse and a rabbit. They both jumped up at the same time. So it was memorable, and we had a grand time that you put that thing together, Laurie.
I remember that, but one of my most vivid memories of that trip, Tom, was seeing you and your father walking back together long after dusk from duck hunting, which of course in Scotland they shoot ducks at night, walking in the dusk back to beautiful Tulkin Lodge, and really it was just one of those moments, one of those wonderful moments. But we had a wonderful time. Tom, I'd like to introduce you by phone to my husband John.
Hello, Tom.
Hey, John.
I'm
so glad to meet.
I've learned that Laurie will take the lead. No problem.
There is that. That's right. Anybody that knows Laurie understands.
Some things never change, Tom. And by the way, true. I can't picture you in an ugly anything, let alone an ugly sweater, because you always are so dapperly dressed.
Well, let me just explain. You guys are up to this Herculean task of bringing back, if you will, this historic gun club. What is this thing that you have taken on?
Well, it doesn't feel Herculean, although as Johnny reacted to it's a huge undertaking. However, the Pinehurst Gun Club was actually founded in 1895 at the same time James Tufts founded Pinehurst, North Carolina, and in fact built the gun clubhouse in his own backyard. And the reason for that was because he had been the son of a gunsmith in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and although he had become very sickly by this point in his life, and indeed founded Pinehurst because of the healing, balmy, piney air, he loved watching target shooting. That was his greatest pleasure. So he built the gun club in his own backyard, and by the time of his death in 1902, target shooting in Pinehurst had become a major attraction long before golf was even really established with the building of the famed Pinehurst No. 2 by golf course architect Donald Ross. When he died, his son, Leonard, who took over the running of Pinehurst, and Donald Ross himself both served as the first president and secretary-treasurer of the Pinehurst Gun Club. And in 1921, the purse for the North-South tournament was $2,100, which had a staggering buying power in those days, close to $200,000.
Really?
And by the time the Pinehurst Gun Club had been replaced with a golf course in 1993, 1,200 registered shooters had entered the final event. So it has a glorious history. Johnny, tell Tom and our listeners about some of the people that came to Pinehurst to shoot at the gun club.
Well, Pinehurst itself is known for the world-class golf, of course, but before golf, when trap shooting was in its heyday, John Philip Sousa was one of the key people who would come shooting and won a number of tournaments here, plus presidents, Will Rogers, Roy Rogers, Bing Crosby. It's a significant list of outdoorsmen.
All of that, but don't bury the lead, which is, let's talk about Little Sure Shot, Annie Oakley.
She was the very first shooting instructor at Pinehurst. She and her husband, Frank Butler, who became the first gun club manager, came to Pinehurst in 1914, although originally they came to Pinehurst in 1902. Annie was brought here to be operated on and recuperate after the terrible train wreck of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show not far from here. But she and her husband vowed at that time that they would return to Pinehurst and they would retire here, which they did until she herself sustained terrible injuries from a car accident at her home in the Midwest in 1922 and was unable to return home, and in fact died shortly after that. But in the first 2 years,
hey, Laurie, I got to jump in here because we're going to run out of time. So tell people what you guys are doing now, bringing this back. Where are we? What are you going to be doing,
Johnny?
We have found some property which is not easy to do in this part of the country, big enough to put a gun club and deal with noise abatement and the various things that are part of building a gun club. We're bringing back we're going to rebuild the old Pinehurst Gun Club as it looked in 1915, Members Lodge, all of the various shooting venues, trap skeet, and then all the modern ones too. And it'll be primarily be private, but it'll be open to members and guests of the Pinehurst Resort, anybody that comes, and we'll certainly have a day a week that's open to the public. But it's a big deal.
And you can read more about it on www.pinehurstgunclubllc.com.
Okay, pinehurstgunclubllc.com. What's our timeline? What are you looking at here?
Well, we hope to break ground in 2017. That's the current plan. Hopefully early 2017. As you said earlier, this is a Herculean task, and we have found that out. It's just slow, but we'll get there.
It is. It's worthwhile from a historical standpoint, from those of us who love the history of the shooting sports, of Annie Oakley, of John Philip Sousa, who was, by the way, people don't know, a really, really good trap shooter, on and on. I just, and those of us whose hearts were broken in 93 when they did away with the shooting to put in the number 8 golf course there, for heaven's sakes. So I just applaud you more than you can imagine.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we'll have our 2 14-station sporting clays fields will be called the Annie Oakley and the Frank Butler, and you've got to come down and shoot with us.
Yeah, maybe one day we can do the radio show from the Pinehurst Gun Club. That would be historic.
That would be so cool. You know, for those who don't know, we actually did the show from Scotland. Remember that, Laurie?
It was wonderful.
We had a great time. John, it's a pleasure to meet you electronically. I look forward to meeting you in person. Laurie, it's always good to catch up with you. Pinehurst Gun Club, let's see. Yeah, PinehurstGunClubLLC.com for more information. Thank you, friends. I will chat with you later. All right, open lines for you. 866-TALK-GUN. The history of shooting and guns continues. It can be an old gun club. It can be an old gun. It can be, hey, you know what? You can start a new history, buy a new gun, and say, I'm going to have this, and I'm going to pass it down. What's your gun history story? 866-TALK-GUN.
Trigger can make you a better shooter. For over 60 years, Timney Triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. Timney Triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. Installation is easy. Give yourself the Timney Trigger advantage. To see more and order online, go to timneytriggers.com. That's TIMNEY triggers.com.
Do you know SID? If you want a gun silencer, SID is your champion. SID is a special kiosk powered by Silencer Shop that has shipped to more than 300 gun stores nationwide, where you and all of your trustees can register, get fingerprinted, and complete the documents necessary to own a silencer in your gun trust. Easy, ATF compliant, and you only need to visit SID once. SID, Secure Identity Documentation. Learn more at silencershop.com. Making the world a quieter place.
If you're a hardcore duck hunter, Mossberg has a gun for you. The new Pro Series shotguns were designed and built to be the most reliable, most durable semi-automatic duck guns anywhere. Rain, ice, snow, it doesn't matter. When the weather gets tough, these new Mossberg shotguns will keep the shot flying and the ducks falling. This season, don't leave anything to chance. Head to your blind with one of the new Pro Series shotguns from Mossberg. Great performance at a great price. Learn more at mossberg.com.
You use Slip 2000's full line of gun lubricants, including EWL and EWL30, because you know your guns deserve the best available. It's time to add Slip 2000's Carbon Killer Gun Cleaner. Carbon Killer dissolves carbon and lead on contact, is not toxic, and reusable. Carbon Killer works on all weapons, including handguns, rifles, and machine guns, plus silencers and compensators. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
Looking for the perfect gift for the gun owner on your list? Alien Gear Holsters is proud to offer the most comfortable concealable holsters on the planet. Grab an award-winning Cloak Tuck 3.0, starting at just $43.88. This American-made holster is designed with a comfortable form-fitting neoprene and a spring steel core for enhanced retention. Its slim profile and tuckable design is perfect for concealed carry. Learn more at aliengearholsters.com.
I just sent to Jim and Michelle a video. I will share it with you. If you go to YouTube, just put in a search for Cerakote, Cerakote. Look at the beautiful little video. It's 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 50 seconds. It's called Cerakote Protecting Generations. If you are into guns, if you are into hunting, if you have been a hunter, if you have hunted with your son or your daughter or your dad or your grandfather, don't embarrass yourself. Watch it in private somewhere first. I'm just saying, okay? Yeah, it's that good. It's pretty terrific. Let's see, line one. JD's with us out of Amarillo, Texas. JD, what's on your mind here?
Thank you, Tom. I found this on the internet one time, and I can't find anything more about it. Can you tell me something about that Wildcat round, the 20 caliber that's supposed to be the fastest rifle round in the world?
I'm pulling a blank. I need more information than that. There are a number of different. Are you talking about? It's a Wildcat round. It's not a factory round. It's not the 204 Ruger, huh?
No, sir. Two rocket engineers, I believe they were Smalley and MacArthur, wanted to see if they could build the fastest rifle round in the world, and they got it up to a mile a second. And it's the strangest looking thing, the round is, but it's hard to pull up on the internet. I can't find it anymore.
That does not ring any bells. So a mile in a second would be 5,200 feet per second, at least initially. Obviously, it's not going to go a mile in a second. It'll slow down. But so they're breaking 5,000 feet per second. 5,280. Thank you, Jim. I seem to remember reading somewhere that there's some kind of physical limitation on how fast they could get a bullet to go. And I want to say this is very vague now. It was somewhere in that 5,000-6,000 feet per second range that they're running into so much air resistance. It's just a real problem. But I don't know about this. I'll tell you what, though, if you'll keep listening, JD, let's ask if anybody knows about this, can fill us in. What is this 20 caliber Wildcat round doing better than 5,000 feet per second? Give us a call. We'll see if we can get you some info. Thanks, JD. I appreciate that. Line 4, Paul in Lake Park, Minnesota. Hey, Paul, you are on Gun Talk.
Hi. I just wanted to say, I thought you would have known about the rimfire, but maybe you do. You just forgot about it. But you said that you're not sure if you can dry fire those. You're not supposed to dry fire a rimfire because the firing pin is right on the edge of the rim, and it can damage the firing pin or break it.
It depends on the gun. Some you can, some you're not supposed to. It depends on the particular firearm. But yes, that would be the one. And of course, my whole point was, if we're talking about self-defense guns, one would hope we're not really talking about taking a 20 rimfire as your self-defense gun. At least it's not something. The subject came up in the course of talking about dry firing and such. And somebody asked, well, are there any guns you should not dry fire? And, like I say, you can't. Actually, they do have snap caps. They have 22 caliber snap caps. And then somebody just said, what's it, the wall anchor, number 4 wall anchor? You could use that. I feel like I'm like the last person in the world to know that. It's probably one of those deals that everybody who spends more time on YouTube than I do knows about that, but I was unaware. But it is an important point. If you are going to practice with your rimfire gun, as opposed to self-defense type practice, if you're going to dry fire that, then you should make provisions and probably just use snap caps. I appreciate that, Paul. Line 2, Brian, Dodge City, Kansas. Rifle stocks? What are we talking about here, Brian?
I never heard you talk much about rifle stocks, and I'm looking at a Bell & Carlson, their new model, and it's pretty comparable to a Macmillan. Is there a big difference between a Bell & Carlson and a Macmillan?
Well, you got Macmillan, you got Macmillan. If you're talking about the hand laid up Macmillan stock, yeah, there's probably a difference. The hand laid up Macmillan is made to your order. There's no such thing as one being in stock. They don't start making it until they get your order, and it will take a few weeks to get it after you've placed your order for it. Macmillan does also have some other like pre-made stocks, and that's probably maybe what you're comparing it with. I guess the question is, what rifle and what are you going to do with it? What are we talking about here?
I got a 243 SPS Remington short action varmint, and I wanted to do some precision rifle with it. And a company in my hometown, Bell & Carlson, makes one that's a new one that looks like an A5 Macmillan that looks pretty decent, but I want to make sure, is Bell & Carlson a good stock to go with?
I have to tell you, I'm not real familiar with it. I mean, I know the company, but I've never used their products. I can't tell you. I would want to know a few things. It's all about the rigidity. It's all about the rigidity in this case. Is it, are they popping them out of molds? Are they doing hand layup? Are they using chopper guns to make them? What's the process they're using to make the stocks? That would be my question to ask them, and ask them about the rigidity. And also, I would frankly do some, I would not get caught up with the idea of them being local. That really doesn't matter in terms of you getting the best stock. I would do some research online, check out some of the precision rifle groups that are out there, ask which stocks are being used. Has anybody used this stock? Start to get some feedback, because now we can do this research ourselves. We don't have to ask around locally. We can go on to Facebook, and there are groups, precision rifle groups out there, and you could just ask the question. So I would say continue to do the research. I don't know about this particular stock, so I can't really help you on that. But when it comes to precision rifle stocks, it really is all about the rigidity and holding its zero, if you will. So it might be good, might be great. I don't know. Just a thought. Michelle said, "Oh yeah, Michelle, are you saying that Bell & Carlson also makes snap caps? Are you still stuck on snap caps?" Evidently. I got a chance to go through the Macmillan plant. It was impressive. Now the high-end Macmillan stocks, they do hand make those. They literally do not start on the stock until they get the order, so they know what rifle it's for, and got all the details on it, and make it right there, and it's hand laid up. It's a pretty cool process. If you go back to my background is, if you go back to boats, in the world of boats, way back, we used to have fiberglass boats. They used chopper guns and basically chop up fiberglass and spray it into a hull, a mold, and you would end up with an inexpensive hull, but it was very heavy because there was a lot of resin in there, and then fiberglass was just chopped up. The resin, the glue, is heavy. So to make it lighter, they would go to a hand layup. So basically they're taking strips of fiberglass cloth, or later on Kevlar cloth, which, by the way, I was the first guy to suggest using Kevlar in rifle stocks. And I thought Chip Brown was going to kill me after he got some Kevlar and made a stock out of it. He says, this thing tears up my shears. The shears they were using for fiberglass, he was trying to cut Kevlar cloth with it. He couldn't get through them. But a hand-laid-up boat or canoe or rifle stock is going to be rigid and still be lightweight. So I kind of mentioned that. That's why I would want to know, what's the process? How are they doing this? Is it an injection molded stock, which can be okay? It might not be what you would want for the ultimate in precision shooting, but they're inexpensive and they are weatherproof. And for most hunting situations, they would be absolutely fine. It's only when you get into I'm going to try to shoot the smallest group possible at 500 or 1,000 yards that these kind of things start to make a difference, all right? All right, so the question I would ask, two things. One is, what's on your shopping list for Christmas in the way of guns, ammo, etc.? Are you going to buy an AR? Have you bought all you want to? And also, I'm talking about making December dry fire month. Do you currently dry fire? If so, how did you get started in it? How much do you do it? If you don't, is this something you would take up? Would you actually take the challenge to dry fire every day until the end of the year? 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here, 866-TALK-GUN. Who can help?
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Back with you, open lines, 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. Think about buying a gun? Did you just buy a gun? Have you decided that, well, after the results of the election, I don't really need to buy a gun? Really? I'm unclear. Why would you have been buying a gun before? Oh, yeah. If they say I can't have them, I'm going to buy one. Really? Okay, then what are you going to put your money into now? May I suggest, now's a good time to get good deals on guns. Line 3, Jordan's with us out of Billings, Montana. Jordan, what you got there?
Hi.
Hey there.
Yes, I was wondering, I inherited a old Marlin 22. I believe it's a Model 39. It was my grandpa's father's rifle.
Okay.
And I have no idea how to even go about, caring for it, because I think it's pretty old, or even how to tell how old it is.
Okay, let me ask you, when you say you don't know how to care for it, are you a gun owner or shooter? Do you know at least kind of some basics of firearms?
Yeah, I am a gun owner. I've owned several guns, but I've never had an antique gun, and I know that sometimes if you try to do it yourself and restore them, you can actually harm the value or actually harm the rifle. So,
Correct. All you want to do, I'm going to start off with this. You just want to wipe it down, use a good gun oil, not any other kind of oil. Do not place the oil directly on the gun. Put the oil on a cloth and then just wipe down all the metal parts and make sure that it's protected from rust. That's all you have to do at this point, okay? That's the main thing.
Okay.
And then just store it in a nice, safe place. Now, as to the history of it, how old it is, what it is, there's a place you can go on the internet, and it's really easy.
Oh, okay.
It's called marlinowners.com. Couldn't be any easier than that.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
marlinowners.com. It is a forum, a website, and you can just go in there and post a question and say, hey, this is what I have. And when you do, what you need to know is the model number and the serial number. And then if you have any photos, and of course, with our phones now, we can just take a few pictures there and upload those. And you will have the collective knowledge of the Marlin Owners group. And they will say, oh, yeah, well, that's a such and such. It was made in such and such a year, and it's nothing special. Or, holy cow, dude, you really scored. That is really something special. No way to know until you get the crew working on it. But that's very cool. The fact that it has come so far in your family, that by itself, irrespective of if there's any financial value in it, there's a huge personal value in that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was my dad's dad's, and he got it from his dad. And so, I mean, if you follow that line just by itself, I would say it's at least 80 years old.
Yeah, that's your great-grandfather's gun.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Well, do you have any kids?
I do. I have a 2-year-old, yeah.
Well, there you go. That will be that 2-year-old's great-great-grandfather, great-great-great, somewhere along the way. That's huge. That's just such a big deal. That's really sweet. You want to, when you get the information on it, my suggestion is to take some pictures of the gun, document, what you can out of it. It occurs to me, this is vague, okay? I think the Cody Museum, the Buffalo Bill Museum in Cody, Wyoming, has the research on Marlins. I think they ended up with the records. You might want to contact on their website for them is Center of the West. And it's the Cody Firearms Museum, Center of the West. If you just do a search for that and find out if they can do Marlins, because if they do, they can issue what they call a factory letter. They can issue you a letter of authenticity with the history of it, when it was made and all that. It would be really cool to get that letter, have it framed, and have that kind of stay with the gun as it moves through your family.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Okay, it's called centerofthewest.org, centerofthewest.org, and that will get you there. Then you can drill down to the Firearms Museum and just send them a note and say, hey, do you guys have the records on Marlin? And if they do, you're home free. You're good to go.
Okay, awesome.
All right, well, good deal. I wish you luck with it. That is that's a cool story. I love that. The whole idea, thank you for the call, the whole idea of passing guns along in a family, handing them down so that youngsters can have them. And, of course, the Marlin 39 is a really nice rifle. It would not concern me in the slightest to take that gun and just start shooting it. I would absolutely start shooting that gun right off the bat. I mean, check it out, make sure that it's not damaged or anything. And you might want to have a gunsmith check it out. But do you have any guns in your family? I have my dad's first gun. Yeah. It's a little Remington, single shot, falling block, 22 rimfire. I think it's 22 short, as I remember. Terrible little sights, little bitty thing. I mean, it's a kid's gun, and we still have it. I'm not sure exactly what to do with it. I have pondered that. I've wondered about maybe building a shadow box, some kind of display for it that way, putting it on the wall. Yeah, no, I'm not sending it to you, Michelle. Michelle says, I'll take care of it for you. I bet you would. What would be the best way to put that out there, to preserve it, have it for the family? I'm not sure that's going to be something we hand down and have the kids, grandkids shoot, but it'd be cool just to document it and have that out. I think I've got a picture of him when he was like 5 or 6, something like that, with this gun too, black and white picture. So that would be very interesting. I don't know. I'm open to ideas, your suggestions. How should we preserve this gun? 866-TALK-GUN.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. shopguntalk.com.
The Black Hills. There's nothing like it on Earth. The kind of place where characters become legends. Wild Bill Hickok, Crazy Horse, Calamity Jane. Pick any part of the world and you'll find people go there to make it their own. But this is where people come to get made. This is the place that made the people who make the best ammo on Earth. Black Hills Ammunition.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
When it's all on the line, you can count on Trijicon Optics. Earning its reputation in combat and on hunts in all corners of the world, Trijicon comes through. The new AccuPower rifle scopes feature battery-powered illuminated reticles, variable power, adjustable brightness, plus they're waterproof. The years of waiting, the dollars spent, your hunt of a lifetime comes down to a single moment. Get Trijicon quality. Trijicon.com. Trijicon.com.
We do depend upon the help of our friends, that's for sure. And we had Jordan just called in from Montana, said he had inherited a Marlin 22, thinks it's a Model 39, and we were talking about what do you do to preserve it. Well, Dave's called in from Cody, Wyoming, line 3, to help us out. Hey, Dave, you are actually in Cody. I was just talking about the museum out there. Are you affiliated with the museum?
No, I'm not. But I actually know the curator of the museum, and they use an ether solution to preserve those guns. They actually don't use an oil base. And the person to really talk to is the curator. Her name is Ashley Limbinski.
Yeah, I know Ashley well.
You can look her up on YouTube. She's got all kinds of videos, and she would be the person to contact out of the Cody Firearms Museum to really talk about how to preserve a firearm.
Yeah, I know Ashley quite well. I think I was the first person to put her on TV for when she got the job as actually she was the assistant curator when we were doing that, and then she became the curator. I love the museum. It's one of my favorite places. I mean, gun site for shooting and the Cody Museum for just looking at guns and looking at cool stuff. So, but in ether, I'm going to have to look that up. But Dave, I appreciate that. That is interesting info. We'll see if we can't run Ashley down. We don't have time today. We'll get her on another show. I'm actually going hunting with Ashley and her significant other, Mark, who is one of the best shooters in the country. Mark Hannish, you may know of him. And so that's going to be a fun deal. We're going to go on a hunt together next spring. So we'll give you information about that as we get closer to it. Did you happen to see articles all over the place this past week about a new study, the Journal of American Medical Association study, big study around it, quote marks around study. They studied the stand your ground laws in Florida, and they said that as a result of the stand your ground laws, there have been an increase in homicides. And it shows that these don't work. It's actually counterproductive. When we have stand your ground laws, more homicides. Well, wait a minute. I looked at it and said, that doesn't make any sense. A stand your ground law says only one thing. You are not required to retreat when you're attacked. That's all it says. Before we have stand your ground laws, you could actually be prosecuted for defending yourself. Because they said, well, you could have run away. So stand your ground laws say you don't have to run away. If you are at a place legally, you can defend yourself or others where you are. That does not sound like a recipe for an increase in crime. So you start looking at it a little bit more closely, as I tend to do on these so-called studies. And what you find is that the British folks who did the study made no distinction between the lawful use of a gun and the illegal use of a gun. That is, some of these shootings were self-defense. Oh, you mean like the way the law was intended to work? Yeah, that. So, there's no distinction between a murder and a homicide. Oh. See, the problem is a lot of people think that all homicides are murders. Oh, no. In fact, not all homicides are illegal. It's perfectly legal to commit homicide if it's in self-defense. It's perfectly legal to commit homicide if you're a law enforcement officer and you're doing it in the course of your job to protect yourself or others. Homicide just means one person killing another person. Might be bad, might be necessary. So now we have this study that says homicides have gone up. Well, what we don't know is that good or bad? Well, I don't know. They didn't study. They didn't make the distinction. And the media never makes the distinction. They would tell you that hardly ever does anybody use a gun to protect themselves. Just almost never happens. And if you have a gun, probably the bad guy's going to take it away from you and use it on you anyway. Really? And then when you ask them, okay, show me 3 examples of that. If you say this happens all the time, show me 3. They never can. Ever. Can they name 3? They might find 1 if they search hard enough. Hard to find 2, and they're not going to find 3. But we can show them millions of cases where people have used guns in self-defense. Millions of cases. And then you get this deal of, and this is going to come to maybe a part of the new administration. People say, well, the Republicans, the NRA, they stopped all the research on guns. No, they didn't. They simply said to the CDC, look, you can't use government money for your studies if they are intended to advance gun control. And so as a result of that, listen to this, as a result of that, the CDC studies dropped by 97%. They said, well, if we can't use them to advance gun control, then we're not going to do them. Which I think kind of proves the point. If these were not unbiased studies, they were papers being produced with a political agenda, and that's all Congress said, is you can't do that with government money. You want to do that on your own? You want to go use Bloomberg's money? Cool. Go do it. They can do that, and they are doing that now. If you want an example, just look at all the stuff coming out of Johns Hopkins from the Bloomberg school there. Yeah, what did you think? I mentioned earlier, and I'm just going to repeat it because I think it's worth your while. You go on YouTube, go to the Cerakote page there, Cerakote, K-O-T-E. They're the folks that make the neat coatings for guns. Their lead video there, it's called Protecting Generations. It's about 2 minutes, just under 3 minutes. It's, somebody put in there, says, damn onions. Yeah, I know. It's a tearjerker. I mean, it's, if you have a connection with hunting, with your father, grandfather, your kids, it is really well done. Sarah Coate, check out, called Protecting Generations. Oh, we have, our videos are up now on all of our platforms. This season of Guns and Gear and Gun Venture, we have put them all up. So let's see, Amazon Fire, Roku, Apple TV, YouTube, you can see them all there. Check it out. So that's, good stuff. Just, I think you can check that out and see what we've been up to. We've been having a bunch of fun going and shooting a lot of different guns and going to cool places and really just making friends. It's kind of what it's about. I call it making memories. You have to get out of your house. You have to go do things. We don't go sit in a cold duck blind to get 14 ounces of duck meat. We go sit in a duck blind with our friends or our family members to get the memories. Along those lines, let me just throw this out. If you have kids or you have grandkids, build adventurous children. Build brave children. Build strong children. Get them outside. Your devices, your electronic devices are no good for them. But more than that, there's an awful lot of the hurried child, the scheduled child, we have this class, we have that class, we're going to hurry to this class. And those are fine. But get them outside where they can walk around and see things and do things and make decisions on their own. Get them outside where it's cold, or it's wet, or it's hot, or it's dry, or we have to walk a while, and then we have to find our way back. Build strong, adventurous people. I'm not talking about putting them in risk. I don't want to put anybody at risk. I'm just talking about making them confident and competent. Self-confidence comes from understanding that you can do things. In order to be able to do that, people need to have been put into places where they can accomplish things. And sometimes it's little bitty challenges. And then you build up on that. And then in the end, you have 12-year-olds who you would trust to take on important tasks where you wouldn't trust some 30-year-olds that you know. That is the way it happens. Firearms are part of that. Teach them right. Teach them the responsibility. Watch them all the time. Build it up. But they then understand you are trusting me with this very powerful tool. And that is a powerful message to give to a youngster. As we head toward Christmas, take on the dry fire challenge. Try to get in 100 snaps, 100 dry fire snaps every day between now and the end of the year. It will make you a better shooter. Also, start thinking about what are you going to be buying, and consider giving an NRA membership or a Second Amendment Foundation membership as part of your Christmas giving. We all need to be pulling this wagon.